What's going on, everybody? It's your boy GemMint. It's the new comic book day video. I'm going to talk about the comics that I've been catching up on. We're going to talk about the new releases that I read this week, and I have a couple of pre-releases. And I'm sure you saw the thumbnail. I got in this crazy, huge haul of comics. Check this out. So what happened was this company, Topaz Distribution and Heroic Deals, they hit me up talking about a project they were doing with DC Comics where they're reprinting a ton, I think it's 70 #1 issues from iconic Batman, Superman, DC storylines. So they sent me every single one. I opened this on the live stream this week. Look at this: Dark Knight's Metal, Infinite Crisis. So they're basically releasing facsimile editions. You can't even tell that these are reprints. Honestly, even the barcode says like 00111, indicating first volume, first print, first cover. The only thing that really shows you that this is a reprint is the back and the copyright information on the inside. But look, Dark Knights of Steel, even got some John Byrne stuff. So what's cool about this, Superman New 52, Absolute Power, they got new stuff, old stuff, Flashpoint, all of these comics, and they're going to be in retail stores. I mean, they gave me a list of stores. I don't even know all of these, but Sheetz, Circle K, Mini Mart, Fast Track, Cumberland Farms. So you're Quick Stop. You're going to be able to walk in to these locations and you're going to see reprints of comic books from iconic storylines right there on the news rack, like back in the 90s or even before. They do have a website. I'll put this in the description, a store locator, so you can see where they're selling these. Because you know what I think is cool about this? You're at Sheetz, you're grabbing a burger or getting gas or whatever you're doing. You see this on the shelf, you say, you know what? I never read Flashpoint. I've gone my whole life so far, never have read Flash, whatever. So you decide to pick it up, and all of these stories have like either trade paperbacks, deluxe editions, omnibus. So if you really like it, you could always try to look for more. Adventures of, I mean, they have everything, man, like 70 titles. So big shout out to them. I know it's not a new comic book day thing, but it kind of is. All right, so getting caught up with comic books, I finally am up to date with a few runs. I just got up to date with Eddie Brock Carnage. Big shout out, big up to my boy Kane Marco. He sent me issues like 2, 3, and 4. So that's what I read. I had issue 5. And if I'm honest about Eddie Brock Carnage, it's just okay. I don't love it. I don't dislike it. I will continue to read this and pick this up. It's just not really giving me what I want. It's a lot of inner dialogue between Eddie Brock and the Carnage symbiote, a struggle for power, who's piloting the body, who's getting done what they want to be done. Eddie Brock wants to use the symbiote for good, and he needed it to save his life. Carnage, the symbiote, needed Eddie Brock, a host, to save its life, but it wants to kill. They're trying to agree on killing just bad people, supervillains, but Carnage is a sadistic SOB, man. He's got this whole airplane full of people trapped. Eddie Brock doesn't know where they are ever since the first issue, and he's kind of using them as leverage, as bait to they're trying to get each other to do what they want to do. So I don't know. It is bloody, it is gory. They kill people. They kill a bunch of cops in one of these issues. It all blends in now, but I'm going to still continue to pick it up. You got your Eddie Brock Carnage. This is by Charles Soule and Ramirez on the artwork. He's got Carnage doing this kind of top hat thing going on. Like I said, just okay. I don't love it, but I'm going to keep reading it. Absolute Superman got caught up. I am up to date with reading issues 6, 7, and 8. I think this has got to be my favorite Absolute series going on right now. So we get the Brainiac stuff, bro. The Absolute Universe is taking characters that have been around for almost 100 years and giving us a fresh, new, unique, interesting take on them. The Brainiac stuff was incredible. So we get that. We get more of Superman's trip from Krypton to Earth and how the Kryptonians didn't really know about Earth or life on any other planets. They were pretty superior in technology, but they never cared to really travel the stars and find other species. So that was kind of an interesting concept. The whole Soul ship becoming the suit that Kal-El wears. Great stuff in here. And then you have the twist on Jimmy Olsen working as one of the troopers for the Omega Men, and then Lois Lane working for the Lazarus Corporation, which is basically like the BlackRock in this universe. And finally seeing the leader of the Lazarus Corporation. It's not a spoiler because it was teased at the end of issue 7, but Ra's al Ghul, who like depicts himself as this Jesus type character. He feels like he's the God's head. He's no longer the demon head. He's the Godhead because he can repair life. He can resurrect life. They use the techno Lazarus pits in order to, he uses it to keep himself alive for over 200 years. Interesting to see Ra's al Ghul as like a Superman villain and not a Batman villain, but Absolute Superman is awesome, and I'm caught up to date with Absolute Wonder Woman, reading issues 7, 8, and 9. This is Kelly Thompson. Who's the artist here? De Ulis. I really like Absolute Wonder Woman. It feels like, with the Greek mythology, like Disney's Hercules, but it's a serious tone. They have these gods and these monsters, and they're drawn from real mythology. And then the way that Wonder Woman is portrayed, very fierce, formative warrior, but at the same time, she's very soft, and she's a little bit naive. And I always hear Gal Gadot's voice when I read her as Wonder Woman. But excellent story. It wrapped up the arc with the Tiger and the Princess, which was a 2-parter. And then we're on part 2 of the second arc here. It's dope stuff, man. Dealing with Hades, dealing with hell, and telling us how Wonder Woman escaped from hell as a child. Great stuff with Absolute Wonder Woman. We've got a brand new San Diego Comic-Con drop from Paraz Entertainment. Anime by Rob Cannon. We've got 8 exclusive covers with cover art by Sukisha Ray and Jeffrey Tai, with homages to Akira, Evangelion, and Drive. You can get it at the That Spider-Man booth Whatnot during San Diego Comic-Con, or if you're at the show, check out JPG at booth 802. All right, so that is everything that gets me up to date. Let's talk about stuff that came out this week. We got some physical copies, and I read a ton digitally. So Medieval Spawn. I love Spawn. I figured I'd get caught up. I read issue 2 digitally. I just read the physical copy of issue 3. The physical Spawn Image comics are so well put together, man. The pages have great page quality, the covers with the card stock. But Medieval Spawn, when I read issue 2, I was like, bro, is this the same series that I read from issue 1, which was exciting and it flowed and it gave us this kid who was saved from this village that was taken over by demons. He joins Medieval Spawn's band, but Medieval Spawn's talking to us from a future tense and lets us know that everything goes bad with this kid. But it kind of fell off with issue 2, and it kind of picks up a little bit with issue 3. They locate the demon responsible for unleashing the demons on this village, and the kid wants to get his revenge. Medieval Spawn wants to take him down the right way so that he can get him off the board, essentially. Anyway, so we can see that there's going to be this power struggle. I don't know. It just really kind of lost interest for me. We have this human aspect, this kingdom that has decided to assert power from the current ruler, and now the new guy's #1 goal is to get rid of everything that's demonic, starting with Hellspawn. So you have a new village that's going to go after Hellspawn. Doesn't really hit as hard for me as like a regular Spawn, like an Al Simmons story. All right, speaking of Absolute titles, new out this week, Absolute Green Lantern issue 4. There goes Abin Sur on the cover. I am really digging what they're doing with this version of Green Lantern. It's like a horror sci-fi kind of thing with Abin Sur touching down as an extraterrestrial, destroying this village. We are learning what happened during that day that took the life of Guy Gardner. It transformed Hal Jordan's hand into this like black arm. He's kind of got like a Black Lantern power going on. And then Joe becomes Green Lantern. John Stewart figures out that yellow and gold can pass through the barrier of will that Abin Sur left behind, and playing with that, playing with the wedding ring thing. It's been pretty cool. It's almost like an M. Night Shyamalan version of Green Lantern. So been digging that. New from Marvel this week, and I have a ton. Actually, I had very little DC. I think this was the only DC title I read that came out this week. We've got one physical Marvel, and then I got a bunch of digital. Absolute Spider-Man issue 7, Joe Kelly with John Romita Jr. Was not digging this issue, man. It was just basically Spider-Man fighting with this guy. What's his name? Hellgate? Yeah, Hellgate. What even happened in this time? I feel like it was just a bunch of talking on a rooftop. Spider-Man talking to him in like Warcraft lingo, Skyrim lingo. But it just seems like them just battling it along for a little bit. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? What's Hellgate's intentions here? Look, I'm keep on flipping. That's the whole issue. I feel like nothing really happened here. It wasn't interesting. Didn't really care about the Hellgate character. Again, this feels like just some, yeah, what even, here's the end. What even happens? It just seems like some bizarre interaction between Spider-Man and Hellgate. Doesn't feel like a Spider-Man character whatsoever. Anyway, all right, let's keep it moving. What do we got on the digital front? Oh, bro. Bad guys. Bring on the bad guys. Green Goblin issue 1. First of all, that Lee Bermejo cover is incredible. Written by Parker. And you got Sheridan, Guggenheim, Della Fortney. Funny how Ethan Parker, he's one of the writers here. This was, so it does follow up the Doom one-shot. These Bring on the Bad Guys are connected, but loosely connected. But bro, this might be the darkest Green Goblin story that I ever read. Yo, showing how Norman Osborn made a deal with Mephisto and sacrificing Harry and becoming the Green Goblin and having to repay Mephisto one more favor for whatever it was that he I don't know, what did he even grant him? I don't know, some business power or what have you. But anyway, Green Goblin having to make his first kill on behalf of Mephisto. And then there's this whole backstory with this sister Sorrow and this artifact that she's trying to get a hold of. It really didn't play a part in this main story at all, but it was a great Green Goblin story. Next one was Captain America issue 1. I wasn't going to read this until I saw that it was Chip Zdarsky. And I'm like, oh, well, this is going to be great. Yo, it really was good too. This Captain America 1, Our Secret Wars Part 1, this is essentially a retelling, a reboot of sorts, a week after the events of Avengers 4 in the Silver Age when Cap first comes back from the ice. So it's his first interaction with Iron Man, the invitation to the Avengers, and just like a modern retelling, Chip Zdarsky take a lot of background with Steve Rogers and what he endured before taking the serum and how he proved his worth in the army. Great, well-written stuff. A nice fresh take. It was like watching a reboot of a movie done right, if that makes sense. Ultimate Wolverine 7. I don't know why this wasn't in my pull list, but I did read it digitally. I'm going to have to try to grab a copy. Great issue, man. I'm digging Ultimate Wolverine. We finally get Wolverine with dialogue. We finally get this Wolverine who's been corrupted by the Winter Soldier program. We finally get him back with the Resistance, with Gambit, with Kitty Pryde. Very somber in the beginning. Great artwork, great emotion. And it's just a shame because like, how long can they really keep this Ultimate Wolverine run going, right? I mean, they're already to the point where he's no longer the Winter Soldier. Who is this now? This is Condon. Art by Capuccio. Yeah, great stuff, man, with Ultimate Wolverine issue 7. I gave this Wolverines and Deadpool's issue 1 a go, and actually it wasn't too bad. So this is basically Wolverine and his daughter with Deadpool and his daughter, which I didn't even know that Deadpool had a daughter. Apparently he's got one. What is her name? Ellie? Yeah, Ellie Camacho. So she has a healing factor. She has powers, but she also has the powers to learn really fast. She was trained by Taskmaster, and the way that her brain works, she can learn a language in like 5 minutes. So it's basically a break the fourth wall Deadpool and Wolverine team up with their kids, and they're teaming up. It actually wasn't too bad, man. I'll check out issue 2. Then we have the X-Men Hellfire Vigil. This is a one-shot, an $8 book. It's kind of like the Hellfire Gala. It's really a send-off one-shot to the Krakoa era. Again, they're kind of doing that a lot, it seems, with different characters, giving their kind of takes on it. They're simultaneously attending a Dazzler concert here. It really just wasn't for me. I did not like this issue whatsoever, but it really did make me think. Like, I'm not reading any of the current X titles. I did read like issue number 1 from X-Men from the Ashes. This is the Ryan Stegman with GemMintC stuff. I read a couple of issues of the Gail Simone Uncanny, which I did kind of dig. And I read the first issue of the, Saladin Ahmed Wolverine. So I have the trades of these. I think I am going to read these and try to get caught up with the X-Men stuff. I know it's not great, but at least I'll be reading it. And then we have some pre-release stuff. So I think this one comes out next week, man. The Transformers from Image Skybound, issue 22, Daniel Warren Johnson. So I understand that Robert Kirkman's going to be taking over the book with issue 25, man. That's interesting. I'm a little bit sad because this feels like this book is Daniel Warren Johnson. I mean, he started doing both writing and the art. It really feels like he poured his heart into this run, and it's a great run. But I am a fan of Kirkman. I wonder, is he still going to be doing Void Rivals? So in this issue, we're continuing this big battle that we're in. It almost feels like the Transformers 1986 movie with Optimus Prime. He's out of commission ever since he ripped off Megatron's arm. It's kind of infected him, right? So he's been out of commission. The Matrix isn't working. It hasn't been charged up since Sparkplug, Spike's dad, sacrificed himself into it. So you have Spike. It looks like he wants to make a similar sacrifice. Meanwhile, we've got our new character. Man, I keep forgetting his name, man. Shredhead? Is it Shredhead? Yeah, anyway, Shredhead being sent back to help Carly on Earth. You've got the return of Ultra Magnus. Great issue, more of a big battle. Not a lot to really talk about, but looking forward to seeing how they end this next arc with issue 24, and can't wait to read issue 25 and see what Kirkman does with it. Another new one that we got was Bloodshot is back. Bloodshot from the Valiant Beyond universe. So I did check this one out. Alien Books now has all the Valiant stuff. So this was by Matella, Furukawa, Masa, Zucchi, and Brushu Studios. So kind of a different take, man. I felt like Bloodshot's voice was a little bit different in this book. I feel like they're trying to find his voice. This is Bloodshot in Japan, and you have the Yakuza gang on the streets with vials of Bloodshot blood from one of his bloody battles. They're taking it, they're calling it BS, and they're bloodshotting out for 30 minutes or so. So you have these Bloodshot versions of the Yakuza, but they're also throwing in vampires into the mix. By the cover, you can see it's bloody, it's gory. If you like Bloodshot, you might want to check it out. Or if you never read Bloodshot, it might be something that you want to check out. Stick with it for a little while and see where it goes. Lastly, another pre-release is the Toxic Avenger comic, man. So, full disclosure, I wasn't a huge Toxic Avenger fan as a kid. I loved the Toxic Crusaders, the action figures, the video games, Toxie with the mop, the Traumaville stuff. I was never into gore. I was never a horror gore guy. So I even tried to watch this recently. I couldn't even get through it. I was just like, you know what, man, this isn't for me. The comic feels like it very much takes place in that same universe, almost like it was after the movies because they reference certain battles and such. But Traumaville, even though it's had this nuclear fallout, people are still there. Toxie's still there. This story is called Something is Mutating the Children, and there's this whole missing children story. There's some gore and some gross stuff in here. If you're a fan of the Toxic Avenger, you'll probably like this. I didn't love it. I don't know. It depends. If it comes out on a slow week, I might check out issue 2. But I think that's going to be it today for the new comic books. Pretty good mix of, first of all, when you want to say old stuff, this is crazy. It's going to be cool to see comics on like a spinner in a convenience store again. But some stuff that I got caught up with and a couple of new comics plus some pre-releases. Let me know what you think about this week's new comic book day reviews. What did I miss? Did I really need to go back and pick up and check out? Let me know in the comments down below. Stay minty fresh. Peace.